Oh my god, look at it. Yes, we've got 5 alarms, guys. I've been wearing this Casio W800H for Watch of the Week, and while it's been a nice little watch, I really have noticed that it's missing some key standard features that would have been really handy over the last 7 days. So today I will be attempting a risky modification procedure involving this soldering iron to try and unlock the full potential of this watch. And at the end of the video, you get to decide what I wear as our next watch of the week, so stay tuned. So let's go through the pros and cons of this watch and then we'll get into the mod. I really enjoyed the nice big legible digits on the display and all of the information quickly visible at a glance. I've found this watch to be the perfect size and it really does look great on the wrist. And just like one of our viewers, Gummy, mentioned, these straps are incredibly soft and comfortable. I also quite like that you can still see what time it is down the bottom here when you swap modes between alarm, stopwatch and dual time. And I also figured out the genuine Casio LCD test, which is these 3 buttons at once, which I thought was pretty cool. If you want to get your hands on the genuine Casio W800H for the best price I found, I'll leave a link for you in the description below. Now, a few things that I didn't like about this watch. If we go into the alarm mode and go to adjust it, even though there is 4 buttons, you can only scroll one way. The top button here does not let us scroll back, so you in fact have to overdo it and go all the way back if you want to scroll down. The gap around the lens of this watch is quite large, and as you can see, mine has accumulated a ton of beach sand from my volleyball games, which looks quite unsightly indeed. While the strap is comfy, I did find that it was a little bit too loose on one setting, but yet when I tightened it to the next notch, it then became much too tight and uncomfortable. So ideally there'd be a bit of a smaller gap between the notches because I'm evidently halfway between them. And speaking of straps, one of our viewers has advised that these straps can actually break down after just 1 year of usage, so hopefully mine last a little bit longer than that. Unfortunately, I found that the volume of the alarm was insufficient, and so I slept through it on my very first morning. And there is only one single alarm, which meant I had to adjust this a bunch of times, which kind of further compounded my frustration that it can only scroll one way. And the last thing that I disliked about this watch is the distinctly noticeable lack of a countdown timer. Where is it? Why does this watch not have one? Smash the like button if you're enjoying the video because now it's time to get into the modification. And to be very clear, this is our before of the watch. As you can see, we only have one alarm and we simply do not have a countdown timer. Say thank you to one of our viewers, Exoteric, who left a comment in our last video with a guide to the best way to achieve this modification. So thank you for that. And here's a picture from the guide. Now, as you can see, it's sort of numbered these connection points from 0 to 5 here. And the goal with this modification is going to be to unbridge or bridge these various different points to achieve the results that we want. So from what I've learned from the guide, this point just up here, which is point number 0, is what we're going to need to desolder so that we can enable the countdown timer. Whereas point number 3, just here, is one that we are going to bridge with solder to enable 5 daily alarms. So I've got my soldering iron heating up as we speak, and I've got that set to just over 400. Now, while that heats up, I wanted to go through some of the other tools that we might use today. So I have here my little soldering iron kit, and we have some Kapton tape, which is basically just going to prevent other parts from getting too hot. We have our flux in a syringe, which is going to help the solder pick up heat a lot quicker. And then we have the actual soldering wire itself. Okay, so let's get this kit out of the way. And by the way, guys, any of the tools that you see today, including the solder or any of these accessories, I'll leave links for you in the description below. All right, so let's get our motherboard ready. And one other tool I forgot to mention, we're going to be using some of this soldering wick, which is great for removing the solder that we need to do at this top right corner here on point 0. Now, since I don't want to desolder any of the other points while I do this one, I am going to cover them with just a little bit of Kapton tape, just to keep that heat resistance there. So I'm just going to cover those up like so. Next, I'm definitely going to want to put down some flux to assist with the desoldering just here. So let's get some of that down. There we go. And do not underestimate this stuff, guys. It really does make the job 10 times easier. So as you can see, there is point 0 with a nice little coating of flux, and I have protected these ones with the Kapton tape. So now we're just going to use our soldering wick, this one just here, to hold down over that. We're then going to press over it with our solder and hopefully draw up all of that soldering paste. All right, with our soldering iron nice and hot, so we're going to hold that over the flux paste, over the solder we want to remove. And let's touch that on there. All right, it looks like that was a success. We've actually fully removed the pads from that point. That's not going to be bridged anymore, so that should work. So now we're just going to remove the Kapton tape, because now we need to actually bridge the connection just there on point number 3. So let's get some flux ready there and get our solder ready. Today's video is brought to you by KOINLY, the cryptocurrency tax reporting specialists. If you're someone like myself who gets a bit overwhelmed at tax time because you have a few cryptocurrency trades, KOINLY has got your back and makes things dead easy by allowing you to synchronize all your exchanges, and they'll do the rest and spit out a tax report for you. I'm leaving a link to KOINLY for you in the description below. I think that's done it. Check it out. It's a little bit pointy, but it's got the job done. So we are going to take it. Alright, you've seen the before. Well, this is the after. So we have the current time. We have our alarm with a little number 1 next to it. That's because we have in fact enabled 2, 3, 4, 5 alarms now. Just incredible. And if we go to the next feature, we have our countdown timer. So let's go ahead and edit this. Oh my God, I was really missing this feature, guys. Just test that. Yeah, check it out. Do you hear that beautiful sound? That is the sound of success. Man, this just feels so much more functional now, knowing I've got all of these alarms. I don't have to reset one at a time. And most of all, this countdown timer. I use this every day when I go on walks with my dog or cooking a steak or whatever I'm doing. I could not believe it didn't have one. So I'm so happy to have these features, guys. Make sure you ram the like button if you've enjoyed that, and make sure also that you're a subscriber so that you don't miss voting on our next Watch of the Week. And speaking of which, here's our next two contenders. On the left, we have the Casio MDV106, or the Casio Duro, a watch recommended by Gummy, one of our viewers. And on the right, we have the Casio Fishing Watch, or the WS1200H. To vote between these watches, simply head over to my Goat Reviews YouTube profile, click on the community tab, and there you'll see the community poll where you can vote for either of these two watches. But wait a second, guys, before you go and cast your vote, I have an honest question for you guys about this watch. Why do you think it is that Casio disabled these features and that we had to go to so much trouble to enable them? It just doesn't make sense to me, so I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Here's another awesome video for you to watch next, and here is our Watch of the Week playlist if you'd like to catch up on the series. Thanks to all my subscribers, especially our Goat Crew channel members, and if you'd like to join us, here's our Patreon, or click join below this video. If you're a crypto trader and still haven't done your taxes, make sure to check out KOINLY in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.